ప్లస్ సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసేటప్పుడు అక్కడ ఉండే గంట సింబల్ ని ప్రెస్ చేయడం మర్చిపోవద్దు.
Very important chapter in our lives, in our country today. How many of us are absolutely ashamed of our vessels? We women are told, "Kapde aise mat pehno, baal aise mat banao, ye mat khao, wo mat karo." Why? Why is that women have to think 10 times about what the neighbor's cat is going to think about them, what the neighbor's brother will think about them? What I'm talking about is that women need to empower each other. The biggest problem in our country could be the government facilities, could be the lack of education, sensitization. The three most important things is we're not educated enough. Though we have 945 females for 1,000 males in our country, and half of the women are not educated. We don't have health facilities. So the first and the foremost thing is that we need to bring about change by creating a venues where women have the access to health and sanitation. आप में से सबका जब periods आते हैं, I'll be very honest. How many of you don't go to the temples, gurudwaras, churches, don't do yoga, don't go to the gym for the first 2 days? Please raise your hands. How many of you do not go when you have your periods to these holy places and condemn yourselves because you have periods? You're not supposed to go to the church. You're not supposed to go to the gurudwara. You're not supposed to eat non-veg. You're not supposed to do yoga. Yes, a headstand, of course, not because you're bleeding. But who all really go through this every day, every month? How many of you, please raise your hands, and you tell your daughters the same thing, and your mother-in-laws tell you the same thing? The most important thing for me is that women, could be your mother-in-law, could be your mother, could be your sister, needs to uplift you. When you marry into another family with a different set of value systems, आपको उनके हिसाब से जीना पड़ता है. आपको अपना घर छोड़ के, जहाँ पे आप एक वैल्यू सिस्टम से जीते हैं, वो छोड़ के आप किसी दूसरे के घर में जाते हैं, जहाँ पे you imbibe on their cultural values and their systems. My point is, why can women support each other? The most basic thing is, मैं यहाँ बैठी हूँ, I would say, she's such a bitch, she's this, she's that. We condemn each other by name calling. That's the first and foremost thing. हम एक दूसरे के बारे में bitching करते हैं. तो हम एक दूसरे को uplift कैसे कर सकते हैं? Health, education, sanitation comes way later when there is no respect amongst women for each other. So my point is, from today, I want you all to start respecting each other. Stop name calling each other, stop categorizing each other. Do not body shame. Now we talk about women saying ye moti hai, ye patli hai, ye gori hai, ye kali hai. I'm an actor, right? So I'll tell you when I go for a casting or a meeting or an audition. The messages we get. Indians who look like foreigners, foreigners who look like Indians, girls who are not too fat and chubby, on the fairer side of the skin tone. Now tell me, what is this? Is this discrimination to what level? Is this discrimination of any kind? We actors face it all the time. Models face it all the time. Oh, she's short. She's not tall enough. So what you feel is, you feel you're not worthy. You feel you're not worthy of that love, the attention, the opportunity. You think your talent is not that important because you're discriminated on the basis of how you look, on the basis of how you dress. Now, if someone's probably sitting here and I see her bra strap, the first thing we notice is, oh my God, she's showing her bosom, she's showing her bra strap. How indecent is this girl? It could be by mistake. It could be through your buttons I can see your bra. You don't do it purposely, do you? You don't do it purposely, but the fact is, the way we are predominantly thinking about each other is about the fact that we are indecent women if we show our legs, we are indecent if we show our bosom, which is the most natural parts of our body. Back in the days, women used to wear the saris and blouses. I'm sure India is very famous for Kama Sutra, but women and their sexuality is condemned in our country. Why? Why are women condemned on the basis of their sexuality? Are we not sexual human beings? Do we not like to be loved? We are the basic biological sources of creating in the world. We create, we generate, we nurture. So they say, for example, we are very, very scared. We live in fear. The most important thing is how we overcome our fear. हम ये डर के जीते कि अच्छा मैं, now we have PCOD. I suffered from this problem. I was super stressed. I was probably going to every dermatologist because I was not aware that I could probably have this problem. So I was breaking out. I was very young, but I was super stressed because of my you know, my degrees, my work, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to be an IFS officer. I was stressed about everything in my life, and then I was breaking out. I did not have facial hair growth, but I did break out, and I was completely devastated. My beauty, I thought, as women we think, hamari shakal bigar gayi hai. Now I'm not beautiful anymore. I'm going to be despised by the society. Nobody's going to like me. What's going to happen to my future? Everything's going to go to the drain. So the first and foremost thing is stop Googling, because Google always tells you you're going to die. The first thing you Google is it leads to cancer, it leads to something. So the most important thing is you seek help. The most important thing is stop Googling, doing your own researches and analysis and taking prescriptions, self-medicating yourself, which is the worst thing you can do. I went to a dermatologist and they gave me some few medicines because they thought, you know, I'm young, I'm sprouting, you know, it could be a hormonal imbalance, which could not be PCOD. So I tried every medicine because I was scared to go to a gynecologist when I was really young. Like, I don't know what's going to happen there. I mean, I don't want to be opening up my body's vital parts in front of a stranger. But that doctor is there to help you. She's there, she's educated, has a medical background to help you. So do not be embarrassed if it's a man or a woman. If you're more comfortable with the opposite sex or you're not, it's solely your call. But I urge you, if you are suffering mentally, emotionally, physically, you have to seek help. Do not think what will your parents or your husband or your brother say to you, because your source of happiness and life comes from you. If you are depressed and you are sick and you are not happy, how do you think you're going to make anyone else in your family happy? How do you think you're going to go back home and give your children love? They think as long as you're not married, you're absolutely this young girl who needs to take care of herself. Jaisi shaadi ho jati hai, responsibilities come and you forget yourself. We women forget ourselves because we are givers, we are nurturers. We believe that we are. To be very honest, we live in a patriarchal society in our country. But who really runs the world are women. So why are we so ashamed of our bodies? So we need to get over, the first thing is stop fearing to seek help. Do not be ashamed of your vessel. You could be fat, thin. In your head, make sure you love yourself, because self-love is so important today that without self-love, there is nothing. No one's going to love you if you don't love yourself, because what happens is you have no confidence in yourself. And when you have no confidence, there is no progress. That's one part. The most important thing I say, because we're talking about she, self-help is everything. The first thing you guys should do is go back home. Think, what is it that I'm actually suffering from? Even if you're not suffering, it's brilliant, it's beautiful if you're so happy and content with yourself. Physically, please do checkups. Mentally and emotionally, women are the most fragile beings. You know how emotionally and mentally things affect our bodies more than our health? Which is medically claimed that if you're not emotionally, mentally taking care of yourself, it really harms a woman's body. Now when you're going to be pregnant, the things you feed your baby, the kind of thoughts you think, how positive you are, your child, you know, imbibes every little tiny detail. You're a reflection of your energy. So if your energy is not going to be the way you want it to be for your baby, for yourself, for your lives, you're going to be a very unhappy person. So if a car breaks down, what do you guys do? Do you throw the car away? Do you kick it? Do you keep watching the car? What do? You take it to a garage, right? You take it to fix it. Now, if your body is ailing, do not hesitate. Please go forward to any doctor for that matter. Now, our country suffers because women are not educated on the basis of oral contraceptives in the rural areas. We have about so many kids in their families, and they keep reproducing, and their health keeps deteriorating. How much can a woman's body take? So it's time to
questions, for the wonderful speech, from Alankrita.
Any questions personally, mentally, emotionally, anything?
I see a lot of courage, I see a lot of strength in your conversation, right? You're articulating yourself. So it comes from a lot of experience. Sometimes, courage is after outlaying fear. Form of courage is, what is this?
So my mom is a very courageous woman. She has had a really terrible family life. Like I would say, not her. Like my family is wonderful. My parents are amazing. But sometimes what happens is you could be a good kid, but you can't have good parents always. You know, we think parents are gods, we think parents, but they're human beings at the end of the day. They're individuals with their good and their bad. So I think I get the courage from her, and when I was wanting to come into this industry, my grandfather passed away, and he was the closest to me, and you know, because he was a bureaucrat. It's something that I wanted to do. So I remember when the first time I got an opportunity to give an audition. Someone picked me up from the street and said, you know what, Alankrita, why did you come audition on me? Have you seen me? No. And so I kind of got dressed and I wore a spaghetti. Okay? A spaghetti is a strap like this. And I was going to go out of the house, and someone from my family, I will not name them, comes up to me and says, do you want to be Jennifer Lopez and Britney Spears wearing those clothes? And my mom, I was really young, okay, and I was in school. And although I didn't do that at that point of time, because my mom was like, finish your studies, get educated, and then do whatever, because it's very important that we all are financially independent. You never know when someone leaves you. So at the end of the day, so I was disheartened by the fact that I thought that I was wearing something really indecent, and you know, there's something wrong with me or my body. And I was growing up, and you know, I had bosom, and you know, I started to wear a bra. So when my aunt said that to me, my mom has been so good to me that she's protected me. You know, sometimes you have to protect yourself from the people who are within your family than the outer world. Sometimes they emotionally damage you more than anything in the world. Outside world does not matter if the people in your house try to put you down. So I remember, it was years later when I became Miss India Earth and I went internationally. They were fuming and jealous, and they tried to do everything to put me down. They made fake blogs, fake identities, fake pages, rumors, and you know, all the things women have to face is rumors. What is the biggest setback for women? Rumors, what people talk behind our back, what's going on. Oh my God, we all want to be respected. But we think if people talk about us, that is disrespect. But that is not, because rumors is not news. Gossip is not news, it does not define you. So while I was, you know, starting my career, I had so much of animosity from people, from my extended family, that it would always make me cry and put me down. But my dad and my mom were so strong that they protected me against every emotional or physical remark that they would make. So that's why I'm telling you, emotional and physical and mental strength is so important. You can be lanky, but if this works, it's so important. So my family has nurtured me and protected me against people who tried to put me down and were jealous of me, hated me, wanted to see me fail. People want to see you fail when you succeed. They will come up with things to put you down. So that's the kind of courage I got from my parents, my dad and my mom, who are amazing people. And I think without them, I would not be standing here and talking about women empowerment, because I empowered myself through my mother. So I want you guys to empower each other through everything possibly you can do, because it's very important that we stand together united. Because if we stand together, the men will follow us, because they know if we're given the power that they have, we're going to really make this world a better place, which probably they don't want. But I think you should just work towards each other's happiness and goals, and do not live in fear. Because fear only makes you go lower than what you really deserve in your life. So do not live in fear, because I don't live in fear even today of anything that might come. I might fail, I might not make it big, I might, but at least try. Try to be the person you really are, because that's the most important thing you can do. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. There might be a lot of questions more, but time is
Yeah, of course, I was running.
So
thank you.
Thanks a lot from Hinduja Healthcare Theatrical, as well as
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.